Hello, this is Paloma. I come back with the story the sky is telling for the next few days. Beautiful family, thank you for sharing this space with me. If you like this channel, I invite you to subscribe and like, and so the information can expand. And I truly appreciate it. So this week we have a full moon on the 24th degree of Aries. It's a super moon. It's quite climatic and culminating. It belongs to an emotional cycle that actually began with the total solar eclipse that we had on the 8th of April that was conjunct Chiron. I don't know if you remember. And at the same time, it answers to the eclipse we had only 2 weeks ago. So with that in mind and already feeling the energy, probably we can know already that this is going to be a powerful, intense, and pretty like a catalyzing energy. I was writing the class for my membership, and we were doing this remembering of the great labor that Chiron in Aries has meant, the implication of elaborating this existential wound, existential pain in the I am that has led us in this retrieval of exiled and wounded pieces of our soul, of our being that had been exiled from the totality of who we are. So we could actually have this healthy individuation and cultivate this virtuous independence in order to reweave ourselves into relationship, I mean Libra, with true justice, beauty, and mutuality. And also with the Aquarian calling of community, integrating diversities and all the radiance and the talents of singularities for a higher purpose. So at this point of the year, I think we all know it took us through what we didn't expect, but what we actually needed in order to have this integration of the pain of Chiron, so we can become available for the creative energy that we are going to require in moments, a few moments ahead in time. We can't really enter the field of creative energy when we are stuck in the patterns of the past that become precisely the blockage for us to have an actual experience of reality from where we can respond from the truth of who we are. So if we live in our patterns of survival, whether it is fight or flight or collapsing or energy, we can't, when we are failing in self-regulating or just regulating safety for ourselves, we can't really access the full creative potential of who we are. And that's why it has been such a arduous labor with this pain of Chiron, so we can transform it into healing, into actual power of creation. This I say because the full moon of October is conjunct Chiron again, and it's also conjunct Aries. So the wounded healer here, which I really feel it's really aching to, longing to bloom into the healer, through perhaps assuming the truth of our feeling vulnerable right now. And also Aries is the sister of Mars in mythology. She is the goddess of discord. Discord means that the hearts are not attuned, Chord comes from quarter, comes from heart. So she's igniting sacred anger for everything that is unjust, for everything that isn't being included. That's her narrative. So also remember, Aries is the first fire of the zodiac, is a divine spark, is the courage to initiate, to move towards our own path, to actually choose a destiny, a new destiny, free and authentic for ourselves. So there is like an incisive theme about honesty, like the path towards true liberation. One of the major and most beautiful resources of the Aries energy is actually anger. Anger as a sacred messenger of that which requires our energy and attention. Because how I understand the original vocation of the warrior is to protect life, to be the one who opens roads towards life, towards the flourishing of the potentials. So with these climatic celestial conditions, I think anger or rage or frustration can be illuminated through this moon, so we can become aware of what is necessary for us to implement, whether it is limits, change, or actual surrender. The sky is presenting a cardinal cosmic cross, This means the 4 cardinal signs, every single one of them at the end, at the last decade, I hope that's a word in English, but at the last part of the sign, they're all in tension together. And remember, these 4 cardinal signs are the ones that open up each season in Mother Earth. They make the wheel of life move. No, they are the ones that open the experience of time through the seasons in Mother Earth. So even though this is a full moon, which is a culmination, it has this flavor of momentum, of movement, of change towards something new as imminent. For me, there is a saying in Spanish, which is la gota que derramó el vaso, and I was trying to find a translation for this, and what Google said that is similar is this: the straw that broke the camel's back. So that's what this moon is for me. No, so from this, perhaps a discomfort, ideally through consciousness and awareness, we can actually see what we needed to see, what we had to see, so that we can renew our commitment to life, to our own path, and therefore to every one of our relationships. Because we're going to see the moon with Chiron and Aries, and right in front it's going to be the sun in Libra conjunct Juno. She is the asteroid of commitment. So I see this as the commitment is with the sun. So it's with the light of consciousness. There's a commitment with balance and with harmony. And the trick is going to be, how are we going to manage balance amongst all of this energy that's going to be so triggering for us? And because I feel like this sky is testing us in achieving this balance in this dynamic experience, truly. Why? Mars in Cancer is the ruler of the moon, because he's the ruler of Aries. There's a mutual receptivity with the moon, which I think is a hidden assistance for this, like an agreement there under the table. But Mars is in a square to both the sun and the moon. So this is quite reactive if we are too attached to the familiar pattern, or if we are feeling extremely activated in our defense mechanisms, and we are like in the war, in the scream of war, or we have our sword, right in front of us, because the whole configuration is quite triggering. That's the thing. I could actually call this full moon the trigger. So we could be very reactive in this energy. Of course, there is another timeline and a way in which we could actually read this energy from a more evolutionary point of view, where there is a great opportunity to use this same sword, perhaps, to discern, like the sword of balance, to discern and then choose to respond instead of react, and choose balance, choose the path that actually cuts with the pattern, and that springs us into action with empathy, with sensibility. This is Mars in Cancer, with affirmation, yet not with violence. I would actually call it a loving firmness. I hope that's okay in English. And well, the big theme is that also squaring both the sun and the moon, we have Pluto in Capricorn, now direct, starting to apply an opposition to Mars. That's the Great Cross. This is the god of death and rebirth, adding intensity to the whole moment. So I think we are feeling the wound of Chiron. We are feeling the anger of Aries. We are also feeling the longing for peace and balance, and way of mediating all of this energy, all of this reactivity with the sun in Libra. And then the warrior is staring right in front, the eyes of death, of Pluto. Honestly, I think this is an internal battle. It's a battle with our own shadow, with the death of the ego, metaphorically, so we can allow the flourishing of the beauty of who we are, of our talents, in service to life. I don't mean by this that ego should be killed. I think ego has a function, but it's about not allowing ego to rule our lives, So I think it's a very, this energy makes it really easy to enter the realm of projections in the outside, and we will probably get triggered by external circumstances, and we're going to feel this need for protection, for security. So I think the very sophisticated theme here is, how are we going to manage this energy with awareness, with wisdom, and with temperance? because it's just a lot of energy. We need to move to circulate this energy, to maybe dance, to maybe exercise, to write, to sing, to scream, to go around the block a few times and take a few breaths, because it's just a lot of energy. And if we don't manage it, it could tend to be explosive, right? Pluto is saying goodbye here, you know. It's bringing from the depths the last pieces of that which we need to see in order to transmute forever. So we could also find a reading here. This is my what I invite as another point of view for this full moon. The rebirth and the harvest of true power with Pluto, the protector of the human family and Mother Earth as home with Mars, the initiation of a new path for our lives with Aries, and the possibility of weaving everything in harmony through Libra. The energy is operating at a very instinctive level, like very reptilian, but through our humanity, we also have the capacity to pause and to create enough space between the reaction, whatever is happening, and our awareness, so we can observe and then decide without precipitation, without impulsivity, which is also there in this energy. Something feels quite urgent, I suppose. And when there's such emotional intensity, I find a route, like a calmer route. First, in simply allowing. Allowance, you know, without denial, without fight, just allowing what is going on to be. And then this opens the space for acceptance. And then acceptance allows surrender. Whether surrender means taking action towards change or just surrendering to what is, because we don't have the power to change it just there. And then I see through this the possibility of transforming all of this energy, which is beautiful cardinal energy, into a creative impulse. There's so much impulse in this chart. I also want to remind us that we are still in eclipse season. Therefore, it's quite karmic, like whoever comes in and out of our lives, we are still working in this lunation with the nodal axis. So this is like more than enough energy to choose to do things differently. I believe collectively we have a very poor way of managing anger. And so therefore this is also an opportunity to mature in the way in which we experience and express this sacred fire. And there's always assistance. There's a beautiful assistance in the sky, and this happens through Jupiter in Gemini, now retrograde. He is inviting us to revisit the narrative and the story we tell ourselves. It's actually giving us a breather from all of this accelerated Gemini energy that we've been in for most of the year, so we can reassess our perspective. No, Jupiter is in beautiful harmonic dialogues to the Sun and the Moon, especially through Gemini and Libra, which is air. I think there is a possibility of a healthy detaching ourselves from the intensity of our emotions, so we can access a certain levity that changes our point of view, because it just opens, it gives breathing space and singing space. No, Jupiter is a protector and a spiritual mentor, so he's calling us into an eagle's perch point of view, so we can actually find in these exchanges and connections the hidden blessing within what seems to be a very tense moment. There is a hidden blessing. Actually, the Sabian symbol for this speaks precisely of that. And then Jupiter talking with the Moon opens us up to the possibility of hope. And when I say hope, I don't mean hope in the way in which we wait for something. I mean in the way of proactive hope, no, where we activate and renew our faith and make it wider. That's also the possibility. So there's also sort of like an excitement to this energy, to coming to, let me remember the phrase in English, it's here somewhere, to coming to this moment of the straw that broke the camel's back. There is something beautiful to this, no, because we needed to see this. Hold on, now I'm lost in my notes. Right. We needed to see this in order for us to probably address something that back there in April we weren't able to to just own, and now this energy finds us in a different disposition. And it's also a full moon conjunct Chiron. Why not address it and experience it as the harvest of our healing, if we know how to integrate this with beauty? Okay, Venus, she is ruler of the sun in Libra. She's in Scorpio at the 29th degree by the moment of this full moon. She is in the school of power and mystery, and she's weaving beautiful dialogues to the gods of change throughout the whole week. So the weather seems like an all or nothing kind of moment. She's opposing Uranus, no? So that's like freedom, truth, authenticity, radical in Venus subjects, which is relationships, values, priorities, our relationship to prosperity. And then she's weaving these beautiful, fluid, harmonic dialogues to Neptune and Pluto. This is like divine love, I think through receptivity and intuition, there is a path to navigate the intensity of this moment. And then in a good aspect to Pluto, to me, it's like actually becoming aware that through the chaos, through the depth, and through whatever it has had to happen for you to arrive to this moment, in fact, yes, you have transformed yourself. Your power is yours. Your will is yours. And it is in service to love. So this is a sentient sky, passionate, with a lot of definitory energy, catalyzing change towards what? Towards you. Towards you, freer, more integrated, humbler as well, and therefore empowered. From the I am, relationships and interdependence becomes clear. By this I mean you will know with whom, yes, with whom no, when. There is no doubt in this sky. This is a sky that actually makes it really clear where you are standing in your life. It shows you the truth, and it invites you to choose love again and again and as many times as needed. So that's it. That's what I have for this full moon in Aries, dear family. What is this? These are my other offerings. Right. So blessings. I hope you have a beautiful, passionate, ignited week.